Welcome back to Qualified Dropouts, everyone. The best podcast in the whole entire planet. Actually, no. In the whole entire universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Have you listened to other podcasts outside of our planet?
I mean, no. But if they're out there, we trump that. So it's whatever. Yeah, we're here. We have a Q&A to go down. Who knows? We may only answer one question. We could probably run it for 4 hours. But yeah, we're here living it. And who is this?
What?
Why does that look familiar? Oh, that's what that is. I was like, why does that seem familiar? All right, so Ian, take it away, dude.
I don't have the questions.
I know. Just take it away though, while I get them out.
How are you guys today? If you guys are doing great, that's awesome.
Okay, and we are here. Yeah, so first of all, I want to congratulate you guys because the questions that got asked, there was only one crappy question.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Congratulate our audience. That's rude. It's a little rude.
No, it's not because they watched our last podcast, so they asked better questions. Yeah. Well, actually, there's...
Dude, you know what's crazy? Erin kind of disagreed.
With what?
Stupid questions. She doesn't think they're stupid questions.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Huh?
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
I was like kind of shocked. She's like, well, that's not true. And I'm like...
What, does she listen to the podcast?
No.
Well,
that's why. Yeah. But I kind of explained it to her a little bit, but she was kind of like still.
Yeah. So there is one stupid question we got.
Let's hear it.
How do I increase my height? Dude, I get that question asked.
I think they just say that just because it's funny.
No. That's a thing. In like other parts of the world, people actually think you can take stuff to increase your height because people are that insecure about it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Crazy. And I didn't know that.
To answer that question, you cannot.
Yeah. And I've said
Unless
that.
you have a surgery. This guy had a surgery to grow 6 inches.
Wow.
You want to know what they do?
Put stencils in your feet?
No.
No? What?
No, they break it's either your femur or your shin. So you're either right above or below your knee. And what they do is because they have to do it millimeter at a time.
Yeah.
So they separate the bone just by like a millimeter, and then it repairs more bone. And then you keep breaking it over like a 6-month period, and it keeps growing, and you grow like 6 inches. Wow. It's a really painful surgery. Yeah. If you didn't. Okay. And you can't really do anything because your legs are always broken.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money too. So I guess that's how you can increase your height.
Yeah, there we go. So there are a couple questions on here that are probably going to take us a very long time to answer. But here's a good one that I really wanted to answer, and this is how to learn skills the right way. And then there was some other stuff said about how to learn skills at the perfect time. There's no like perfect time to learn a skill. So how to learn skills the right way. I like to say the best way to learn skills is through personal experience and also to learn it from people who have already done it.
That's all you have on that?
Well, no, was just the surface.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I agree. I think what's super important, I think a lot of people will dive into all this information online and like learn a lot about something, but they don't ever apply it or actually do something with it. So they don't even know if they learned a skill or not. They just know the information rather than the actual skill. Because I believe that the skill is the act of being able to do something, not just know something. Mm-hmm. So I think just trial and error, like being okay with failure and just going over and over again. Like you talk to any salesperson, like learning how to sell, like you don't just study a bunch of things and go into your first sales and job and you just know how to sell because you learned all this information of how to overcome objections, how to talk to people, but being put on the spot and learning how to do it, it all comes through like repetitions. It's like bodybuilding. It's all about repetitions.
Yeah.
Repetitions.
That's why I tell you guys you need to do the thing first, and then when you get stumped, that's when you look up the video or buy the book or whatever it is. If you buy the book first, you're just gonna be overloaded with information, and then you're gonna be like, I don't even know.
You won't be able to you won't even learn how to apply it to what you're doing because you're not doing anything.
Yeah, and everyone has their own journey with whatever it is too. So it's if you learn from someone, you're gonna try and mimic his journey, and because this is coming from firsthand experience. I've done this. Like, I've tried to mimic someone else's journey because I learned from them before I started, and that's just not the case. Because everyone's in a different position. God puts everyone in different doors and different opportunities, so you can't mimic someone else's thing when you're not that person. So that's why I like to say, like, the skills that you're going to learn, you need to do it first, and then ask questions. If you ask questions first, actually, watch that video if you want to ask questions first. Our last video we posted.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Okay. You have anything else for that?
I think that's all. I think that's all we needed to say.
Yeah. So I said topics. I didn't really say question. So the topic this guy wants us to cover is finance. Sorry, dude. Terrible question. That doesn't even make sense. But he did ask a very good question. How to know if you are on the correct path. Also, just to let you guys know, I'm not saying it out of me being a douche or a dick. I'm saying this to help you guys out. If you say talk about finance, dude, like,
there's so much to finance.
Like, there's so much to finance. You need to be very, very technical on what you want to know. Because I could answer that question, and it is exactly not what you are looking for. So not only did I waste my time, but I also wasted yours. So that is why you need to be very technical in the answer or the questions that you ask. So this is a loaded question, bro, is how to know if you're on the right path. This is loaded because I'm going through this right now. Mm-hmm. You start, though, because I told you I wanted to hear your answer first. Oh. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, I don't think you'll ever know you're on the right path because you'll always question if you can do something better. Mm-hmm. That's, like, I don't think I've ever known since starting my business and everything that I know I've been on the right path. I think I have been, but the next, I change it totally, completely, because whatever stops working, or maybe it's just not, I didn't like what I was doing, or my whole vision of it changed completely because of, as you acquire new information, you go through life experiences, your business will change, your ideas will change, what you want for the future will change based off of all of your past experiences and beliefs that constantly change. So I don't think you'll ever know you're going to be on the right path. The only way to measure that you're on the right path is how hard it is, and also, like, are you seeing some type of growth in some area of your life? And that's it. That's what I think.
That was a solid answer, bro. I had a feeling we were going to have a similar answer, but yeah, I also, dang it, this thing is, I think Buddy's sitting on it. But yeah, I also don't think that you're ever going to truly know if you're on the right path. I think a lot of that comes with faith a lot too, and it's going to change a lot. I think a lot of people think you need to do one thing and stick with that one thing and do it for the rest of your life. But if you have that mentality, because that's the mentality I had about, I'm going to be in fitness, I'm only going to do fitness, I'm going to talk about fitness, I'm going to do the best thing in fitness, and I'm going to do fitness. And my mindset started to change like a year in, but I continued to do it for another year and a half. And it kind of like builds up and snowballs, and then it's like, shit, like, I don't even want to do this anymore, because you're like Ian said, your beliefs change in what you actually want to do. So that's why my content has completely changed, because it's like, I don't really like talking about this is how you lose weight anymore. I'm sorry. It's just boring to me. I don't like doing it, and I've done it for a long time. And they actually say that an average person changes their career paths 7 to 9 times.
Really?
An average.
I'm trying to think what my career path is. First, it was going to be actually finance. I was going to school for finances. I'm going to be a not an accountant.
No. This is after college.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is like, since you get your degree, and we don't have degrees, but since you get your degree, you change career paths 7 to 9 times.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, for you to say, how do you know if you're on the correct path? I think to know if you're on the correct path is if you are doing what God is telling you to do. In my opinion, I think that just comes just with obedience, bro, honestly. If he tells you to do freaking start a podcast, bro. If he tells you to, go work in a hospital and he wants you to be a nurse, then go do it. But I think that's really it for me anyway. That's what's been really important because the ways he has spoken to me is a lot different than how I think he would have spoken to me in the past before I grew a relationship with him. I think that's extremely important personally. Because he gives a lot of direction. So that's my kind of take on that. It feels like we could talk about that topic for a lot longer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think you'll never know if you're on the right path or not. You just got to keep doing what is intended for you. Almost. Let me pick a question.
Well, we don't have that many. I messed up. I put a poll on it too, so I think they missed the questions tab. See, I'm just gonna answer those two. They're all.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is finding a purpose as a single person. And this was asked by a girl too.
I can talk from my experience when I was single. You go first, though. Since you are single, let's start with you.
So I think purpose comes directly from God and what he wants you to do. And I also think that, a man's purpose is to provide and protect for a family. And for a woman, I think now you have like two ends of the spectrum where it's like a girl should not work. A girl should just stay at home and be the mom and like be lazy and stuff like that. And you have this other force where it's like girls should make $200K a year and have a family and just hire nannies and stuff like that. I think people have it all wrong, bro. I think you need to build yourself up as a woman or a man, and then whenever you do get to that standpoint of you finding a family, you'll know what's right. I mean, if you truly love your husband, and this has happened multiple times, bro. If you truly love your husband and he's making 30 grand a year and you're making a little bit more and you want to be a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mom while you have kids, it's going to be pretty hard for him to support the family with 30 grand a year, right? So I think it's important to also understand the season you're in. So if you're in that kind of season, it's like, well, you probably shouldn't have kids until he's starting to make more, and then maybe you can ease off on the work. I mean, that's how it was with my parents anyway. My mom stayed at home with my brother, and that's it. But, when my parents met, my dad was making like 22 grand a year.
That's crazy.
It was awful.
But
yeah, I think purpose just comes from like just knowing I think it truly comes from knowing what season you're in and just always developing yourself as a person and just knowing how to develop yourself either as a man or a woman.
So I think we need to be a little more specific because it's very, very. I think that in order to find your person as a single person,
purpose.
Or purpose, sorry. Find your purpose as a single person. You're obviously going to want to try as many things as you can because right now you do not have the responsibilities of being in a relationship or worrying about talking to certain people or catering your life around somebody else, which I also don't think you should do. I think a relationship is a joint thing. You shouldn't have to change your life. And this kind of leads me to my next thing is you need to just try everything and anything that you think defines you, whether it be certain businesses, certain hobbies, certain job, like going different careers, having different events, whatever it is, you need to try everything you can. And so you can become confident in what you believe in and who you are as a person before you dive into a relationship. And that's like, I was in a relationship when I was young. And after that, I stayed single for Probably like 3 years, honestly. Like you talk to people, you go, you socialize, right? I think that's super important. Like just try to talk to new people and always like be social. So, you're always going to have those people you maybe go on a date with here and there. I think it's great to go on dates here and there, but to just socialize and be normal. But I was single for a while, and during that time, I just tried everything. I did everything I wanted, and I started pursuing things. And it just built up my confidence to really not care what anybody thought. And also I knew when I got in a new relationship, nothing in my life was going to change of like what I loved and what I did. If you feel like you have to change any of the things you love, or you have to maybe be someone different, or like you're scared to pursue something because of a relationship, it's not the right relationships. Like that was something I learned. I was like, yeah, I'm never, ever, ever going to do that again. I'm never gonna like not be who I am, and before I get another relationship, I'm gonna be confident in what I'm doing. So when I say, yeah, I'm doing social media, I'm doing this, and I'm not gonna worry if that person I'm talking to is gonna laugh at me or think it's stupid, because if they do, it's like, yeah, well, I don't really care. I'm not gonna date you. Like I know what I want, and I have a strong self-belief in who I am. So I think finding purpose as a single person is trying anything that interests you. Build enough confidence in yourself and what you believe in, so when you do dive into a relationship, nothing changes in your life other than the fact that you are now spending time with someone.
Yeah, that's good. And also, when it comes to your purpose, the answer is kind of in the question as well. It's your purpose. It's not society's purpose for you. Because I think a lot of people will be like, oh, well, society wants me to be this, so I have to be this. And it's like, nah, that's just not how it is. You need to find what you like, what you want to do. And I always like to say, find the thing that if money wasn't on the table and everything was free, if you had to do one thing for the rest of your life and you weren't getting paid for it, that's what you got to do. Mm-hmm. And once you find that and start doing it every single day or every week or whatever it may be, eventually if you stick with it long enough, you'll probably start to get, if you live in America, everything is, what's the word? Transactional? Transactional. So I was going to say transactionary, but I'm like, I don't think that's, but there's a monetary value to everything. So if you stick with it long enough, you'll get paid from it. Shoot, I didn't think I was going to get paid from talking about fitness, right? And then you talk for it long enough, then people are like, I want to pay you, right? It's the same thing with podcasters and YouTubers. If they stick with it long enough, YouTube pays them. People cash app them, Venmo them, stuff like that. So, that's what I like to say. Find the one thing that if you were to work for free for the rest of your life, do that thing. And then when you get paid, it's a bonus. That's what I like to say. Last question. This is going to be a quicker podcast, too. The last question that we're going to tackle is how to maintain a healthy relationship. Go for it, Ian.
How to maintain a healthy relationship. It depends on
what... Actually, dude, let's actually not talk about... Let's talk about our relationship.
Like, we can talk about friendships.
Yeah, let's just talk about a relationship.
Well, I wasn't just say relationships in general.
Because I think this is really important, bro.
I think to maintain a healthy relationship.
Well, actually, hold on. You said something the other day at the pool. Remember?
What did I say?
About money. About I'm the only person. Say what.
Wait.
Remember at the pool?
What?
Because you said, and this is when I kind of knew that. I already knew this, but I was like, I feel the same way.
Like who to trust with, like if you really were...
like so at the pool we were chilling, and Ian was like, yeah, if like stuff hits the fan or whatever, like you would be the one guy that I would actually give money to, and I knew you would give it back to me. And I think that's a form of trust a lot of friends don't have. Like they may say it, they're like, yeah, I trust this guy, but it's like when it comes down to it, you don't really know. And I have a few of those guys. I would say in my life, I think I have a total of 3, and you're one of them. Other one being my buddy in Arizona, and then my other one being my brother. But besides that, yeah.
I think that's like, those are like healthy relationships. Those are like true friendships. And I think for relationships too, sometimes you're just going to have those friends that are just great relationships to have and connections, but it's not going to be that like that next level where it's like, I mean, like forever type shit. Like, I think people come in waves, and people will come in and out of your life. But I think to maintain just overall relationships, it's just one, I think not expecting anything in return. I think it's a big thing. A lot of people get offended if like people don't get like invited to things or anything like that. Like I went through that phase. I like, you know, back in high school, like I wasn't invited to things, especially, I'm going to be honest, even after like my serious breakup, like we had the same friend groups, but then I wasn't invited because she was and everything. And I was like, well, this is just not healthy. Like I went through a huge like wave of emotions of like, it's kind of unfair. Like no one wanted to invite me to do anything because.
So it's like they took her side.
So in a sense, yeah, it's not that they were. It's just, I mean, I don't want to talk negative to anyone back there, but it wasn't even a bad thing. It's just I wasn't really as invited after. Like they couldn't hang out with me. It's like, okay. So that taught me though, it's like, you know what, like going forward, like your real like friends and healthy relationships that you want to have, you shouldn't expect anything in return. And I don't expect anything in return. If people don't want to hang out with me, it's just a good indicator of like, okay, like temporary. Yeah, I'll see him. I'll say what's up, but I'm not going to go out now. I'm not going to go out of my way to say hi to them. Now, if people want to hang out with me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to maintain that relationship by inviting them to do things or be proactive in it. And then they're going to, I know for a fact they're going to return the favor. So obviously you do have to open up you have to be a little vulnerable first in the beginning of like inviting people.
That's what I was going to
first. And then you will get that instant feedback of if it's even worth maintaining that relationship as a friendship or that relationship, because if they really like you, they'll want to hang out with you again. If they don't really care to, they're not going to invite you. That's just the facts. So I think to maintain a healthy relationship, you put yourself out there first, and then if it works out, awesome, but don't let it affect you either. Like, don't expect anything in return. You're just putting yourself out there to make a connection. And they'll do this. Like, hopefully they'll do the same. I mean, I don't think there's really a right way to do it. I think it's just you have to be a little vulnerable first, and then, you know, just don't really expect anything and go from there.
Dang. I actually didn't think you were going to say that.
Why?
Well, I didn't think you were going to use the word vulnerable.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I knew that's what you were thinking. I just thought you were going to go a different way with it. But yeah, man, I think the reason why we've stayed so close and gotten closer is just because like we're vulnerable with like literally like everything, like business ideas, what we think about certain topics, stuff like that. Like the thing is
I think we also don't get offended. Yeah. About like whether you go do something and I don't, or like
I was talking about this the other day. Yeah. I was on I don't think did I post it?
I mean, we do a lot together, but also like,
well, no, I think I did post it. I can't remember, but I was talking about friendships, and I'm like, you know, your friends suck if they say yes about everything. If you're like, should I do this? Do I do this? Blah blah blah. Like, your friends are not good if you say, yeah, dude, like go to that party, go see that girl, do this, do that. Like, no. You're like true friends, bro, know exactly what you are trying to strive for, and like knows exactly what your purpose is on earth. And if you are going away from that, they're going to tell you no. Yeah. Like the amount of times I've told Ian something, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to do this. He's like, don't do that. It's terrible idea.
Well, and vice versa.
Yeah, and the amount of times he's came to me, he's like, yeah, I want to do this. I'm like, I don't think that'll be logical. And I think that's super important. And if you don't have friends like that in your corner.
Yeah, being open-minded. Like, I think like that's super important. So like accept feedback, and also, yeah, You want people around you telling you no, but you also have to keep that door open for them to be able to tell you no, and you can't be a dick.
Exactly.
Like, if you're just like, no, screw you, like, that's not true, they're never going to tell you no again and try to help you.
Exactly.
So, and we've seen that. Like, there's people, I know people personally that you can't, honestly, there's some people that I just, I won't be upfront with them because I know how they act, right? It's like they're going to be offended by it and they'll ask your opinion. You're like, yeah, just do it. But it's like, that's also on you. If you're that person, you have to be willing to take feedback. Now, the other person should know how to deliver it because there are proper ways to deliver it, to make it not like, hey, you're an idiot. Like, hey, you're doing a great job, but like, I would change this or just try it. They need to come off like, just try it. If it doesn't work, go back to your old way. But I don't think that was a bad idea. I think, this could be something new that you do. And then you got to learn how to communicate in that aspect. But
yeah, and I think a lot of people are really, really afraid to be like open up that vulnerability door with other people because they're afraid of what they're going to think of them. But you shouldn't think like that because the more vulnerable you are with someone, one, they're going to accept you and they're going to know a lot of stuff about you. And two, they're going to reciprocate that if they actually want to hang out with you. And three, you've already opened that door. So it's not like you have to like inch your way into like being vulnerable with them. Right. Like right off the rip, what was so cool about kind of like me and you and Hal is like, we were like, just with everything, we were like right out the gate. Yeah. Like, just like, yeah, dude, like I do this, like I want to do this, like this sucks. I'm sad on this part of my area. Like, I don't know what to, like, we just like opened up everything. And I think that's like a true healthy relationship. And I know we're kind of taught as a society, like, don't be vulnerable with people. Like, keep your doors closed and stuff like that. It's like people take that way out of context.
Well, I think way also like, so how I view it is being vulnerable. People are scared to be vulnerable because they feel like they're going to go, the other people they tell them to is going to go behind your back and talk about them and ruin you or whatever. And it's like, to be honest, the reason why I'll be vulnerable is to give them, like, I'm testing them. If they go talk shit behind me, it's like, exactly right. To be honest, if you do that, you're not a person I'm going to even care about 10 years from now when I'm as successful as I can be and I have other things going on in my life. Like, you won't matter. And that's like that won't matter. And that's why, like, going into each friendship and relationship, it's like, I'll be as vulnerable as I can. 100%. I'll tell you everything. And if I get, obviously you're disrespectful of me and you tell other people and you talk crap about me, it's like, okay, well, you're going to waste your time and energy talking bad about me. I'm going to spend my time and energy not worrying about that. And I'm going to just focus on me and keep on growing. So I'm just going to pass you. It doesn't even matter. Like, that's how I view it, because it's just
a macro friendship, not a micro friendship.
Like, when I see people waste so much time on this little drama, like so much energy and effort on it, I'm like, why don't you just spend that on like what you want to actually grow in the future? You constantly complain about how you look. You constantly complain about not being able to make enough money. You constantly complain about whatever. It's like, if you took all that energy that you spent on these micro little relationships and things going on in life and drama, and just put it into yourself and not caring what they think and not letting it upset you. It sucks, but also like learn to just have no feeling towards it. You'll just be so much more successful. I think that's just like something that's changed for me too, because I used to care a lot about like, oh, this person did this and this person did this to me, and it's like, I just got to a point, I don't know, I just didn't care anymore. Like, when I went on prep and everything, I just didn't care. People talk crap about me. People talk crap about my bodybuilding show. People talk crap about me posting on social media, and it's like, man. They can do that, but while they're doing that, I'm just going to post more content and do more. And then now, like, look where I'm at. Like, I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to brag, but I have a successful online coaching business. I moved out to Houston. I got the car that I've always wanted and dreamed, and I'm not a materialistic person. It's not a super nice car, but I've always drove shitty cars. But I gave myself the opportunity to go and actually buy something for myself for once. I always felt strapped for money. but I did things with it, and I didn't if I would have focused on how people would have thought about me, or me being too vulnerable and then people talking crap on me behind my back and things like that, I would still be back doing whatever I'm doing back in my hometown.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because you're rewarded for being vulnerable in this. You're literally rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who came up with you can't be vulnerable. Don't do that. Like, that's a terrible thing. Like, I don't know who came up with that, but the people who aren't vulnerable with their friends, peers, whatever it may be, they're hiding so much stuff in them, and they're, like, afraid of themselves because they don't know who they are yet. Yeah. So let's like tackle, like, just vulnerability in general, because what me and Ian are not saying is, we're not saying when me and Ian met, I broke down crying. I was like, dude, like, I'm so upset over this one girl. Like, I feel like a loser, and I'm like sobbing and crying. That's not what I mean by that.
Yeah. It's just being honest about who you are in the moment.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, it's like if Asher asked me, oh, how much money did you make this month? It's like, I've only made this. My business is failing in this area. Like, that's like being vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Or if you ask me, how's your relationship with this or whatever, it's like, yeah, this happened. Or ask me how I'm doing. I'm like, yeah, my grandfather just passed away. Right. Mm-hmm. It's like,
we've both been through that, bro.
Yeah. And
in the past year, we both had people pass.
You being, vulnerable in that way, where people ask you questions and you're just honest. Now, obviously there's like different types of questions you shouldn't be answering, right? Yeah. I think there's like disrespectful questions and things that, really just like gross questions. You start getting in the more of the darker side of things, but that's different. But I don't know. I think that's the way of being vulnerable. Not like just like you coming out the gate and being vulnerable isn't putting all of your problems on somebody either.
That's yeah.
Like, you're being vulnerable is just being honest, but then also talking about the positive things and like being happy for something and like your goals and your dreams and whatever it is. Like, that's also being vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're meeting someone new, girl or guy, don't cry to them or whatever. But if they ask you like what you want out of life and it's not the normal thing, you need to tell them that, because if you don't and you try and like play down to their level almost and hide that away from them, it's gonna come out eventually. Mm-hmm. So it's better to just say it right off the rip than kind of wait until it gets bad. And hey, I've had this happen with girlfriends. Like, I'll wait like a month and a half, 2 months until I'm like, okay, I do this and like this is where my life's headed, and then we don't talk anymore. And it's like, I wonder what would have happened if I just would have said it right out the gate. Now, obviously, like there's different like stages that go into it, but
we can talk about Asher's love life another podcast.
Yeah. But
I'll tell you what, Asher.
Well, no, he's
an interesting man when it comes to relationships.
I just attract the weirdest women.
I'm older, so I've been through more relationships. Man, the conversations he has.
It's so weird, dude. I never bring them up either.
And they'll be in the first month, and I'm like, I've never experienced that.
I never bring them up. I get questions about how many kids
It's hard for me to believe that. I feel like there's some way you act, not you ask them, but something you say.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. The thing is, though, is it's like.
This is Asher being vulnerable right now.
Dude, I'm vulnerable as crap on the internet, bro.
This is me calling him out a little bit.
I'm so vulnerable on the internet, but yeah, man, I don't know. Maybe
funny.
It's probably because I'm vulnerable with girls, and they know, girls inherently know a vulnerable question for men is, what does family look like for you?
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. When they ask me that in the first 3 weeks, I'm not going to be like, let's not talk about that. Like, I'm obviously going to answer it.
It's just interesting.
And when I say, hypothetically, I want as many kids as possible. So like, if we lived in a hypothetical world and, child labor wasn't a thing where like it wasn't hard for them or whatever, I would probably want like 10 kids. But realistically, Probably like 3 to 5, you know? But then like when I say that, it's like they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, it's a hypothetical. I'm saying realistically. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Very interesting.
It's gonna be funny because eventually, if I do have a girl stay with me for a little while, I kind of want to talk to her because I'm vulnerable with all of my girlfriends. I kind of want to talk to her about this topic. I think that'd be a good topic to talk about.
We should get them past 1 month.
Yeah, dude. 1 month is usually like the. 1 month is usually like the.
It's okay.
The thingy.
It's okay. Hey, it's all right. We've all been there.
Oh, I don't. Shoot, man. Hey,
I found the right one.
Hey, I don't.
That's all that matters.
I don't. Shoot, I'm cooling. I'm cooling right now. I haven't really told you, but there have been girls like sliding into my DMs and I don't say anything back.
You should.
Nah. They're all.
What if you don't know that? What did we just talk about before this? We talk about assuming someone's. Yeah. Assuming about someone because of.
Yeah, but also I do think that sometimes people get sent into your life as temptations and not meaningful.
How do you decipher? This is a great topic. How do you know that it's a temptation rather than a good thing? Or, yeah, go ahead, actually.
I think it's the way she portrays herself on the internet, bro. I think if she's in a bikini showing her like, it's pretty obvious, bro. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, it's pretty obvious when a girl is in a bikini for every picture and, like, she takes photos with her ass out and stuff like that. It's like, that's pretty easily, like, this girl is trying to slide in just to get, like, a quick little hit and then dip. And if not,
sometimes,
if not, she does want something meaningful. That's not what I want. I don't like.
Hey, I've seen girls that get married and they're very, very loyal and they're great people. But then I see their Instagram and I'm like, that's very interesting.
You know what's
you would have never guessed
it. You know who would have never guessed? Well, I didn't really know much about her. Summer Rae is like has a very strong relationship with Jesus. Like very. Yeah. She's only had sex with I think one person.
Wow.
And it was with it was with that long-term boyfriend she had.
Didn't she date MGK? No. She dated. I think she dated MGK.
Yeah, they didn't have sex though.
Yeah,
because it wasn't with him; it was with someone else. They dated for a long time. But anyways, because she was on a podcast and she was like, I
remember.
I forgot what it was, but she was like, if I were to say one thing to any girl out there, you need to have a strong relationship with Jesus, or you're just going to be consumed by the devil and by social media and comparing yourselves to these other girls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, homegirl.
Boom, there you go. See? Girl. I mean, if you would have looked at her page, who would have thought that? Just saying. So how do you decipher it? How do you decipher good and bad?
But still, I wouldn't want to date her, though.
What if that's what you're meant to?
Who knows, man?
How do you know? How do you know it's a bad thing or a good thing? How do you know it's not the one? Because there's a story. I think I forgot what it was, an analogy. And
well, you want to know how I know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, bro, this, like, you want to know how I know? Because holy women don't post their ass on the internet, and God sends men holy women. That's why.
Yeah, but also, I mean,
no, it's kind of hard.
Everyone sins, right? Everyone sins. So you're thinking of like the most perfect woman, right? And you got to think of everything you've said on the internet, right? It could be even just cussing, right? Cussing or saying certain things or doing, your past of things you've done. And it's like, what if a girl met you and it's like, oh, this guy did this in the past, and it's like,
I know, I don't
like know, how dude. That's not a holy man doesn't do. The holy man doesn't do drugs, or a holy man doesn't cuss, or a holy man doesn't like get drunk. He only, gets buzzed. Like a holy man does X, Y, and Z, right? Doesn't fall into
that's true,
temptation.
But also,
so then it's like
exploit. I don't know, man. I just don't think.
I think
I think it's hard
I think
to know.
your faith has to far outweigh your sin.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think it's the best because your sin could be something that takes a while to develop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we can talk more about even just like pornography, drugs, alcohol abuse, any type of just like hooking up with people, right? So it's like that isn't going to be you wake up one day and it's an addiction. Like everything's an addiction. Everything you sin is an addiction. So it's like that's going to be something you're going to have to like work through and it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And so if you have a strong faith, obviously God's going to give you the power to do that. And, for her, maybe posting on social media gives her gratification, but it's an addiction, right? Because like maybe she views herself as something that's like not beautiful and like she's always hated herself and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And it's an addiction because she gets that instant gratification. But,
well, I mean,
I don't know.
To know, like, that's a hard question, but I don't know.
Yeah.
However,
do you think it's possible to be do you think it's possible that God could send you something, but maybe you're too blind to see the good in it?
Man, dude, I've thought about that a lot, actually.
Right?
I've thought about that a lot.
What if God was like, I've sent you
what's
this
crazy?
person, this person, this person, this person, and you keep saying no, this is like, and you're just
what I've also thought about? I've also thought about, like, what if God's going to send me a woman and I am the messenger for her to get her into church, and then she grows her faith with me as well.
Well, I know one thing in the Bible.
That too.
Well, God doesn't want you to be married to a non-Christian. So there's that. So it's like,
but he didn't say anything about being the messenger and getting them into.
Maybe.
I've also thought about that.
But I would say you would have to, before you date them, they would have to be a Christian first.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. Oh,
so
100%.
They could be a friend.
They could be a friend, exactly. They could be a friend, exactly.
So it could be that. I mean,
I
knows,
thought about. I'm like, man, what if that? It's just there's a lot of possibilities.
I tell you all the time. I'm like, I think the girl that you paint. I'm like, you're not gonna get that. You want to know why? Because I just know God. That's not how God works. Like the girl that you want.
It's facts, bro. It's facts.
You're not.
That's not how God works at all. It's facts.
You tell
bro.
me your criteria and like what you want. I'm like,
dude. The more and more I've
know.
grown in my faith, bro. That's facts, dude. He's never gonna do what you want. He's gonna do what it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
It's never gonna turn out the way you want it. It's crazy, dude. And the thing is if you force what you want, you're not gonna be happy with it.
Yeah, if it's you'll know when it's forced and it's not right. So that's how you know. But
that's a whole nother topic in itself, bro.
I saw there's this analogy. I forgot where I read it, but it was like a story of a guy. He got lost at sea, and there were 3 boats. There was like one boat that came past him, and they said, "Hey, you need help?" And he's like, "No, God's got me. Like I'm gonna be good, whatever. Like he's gonna help me out." And then another boat comes, and it was like basically like I'm butchering this, but basically 3 boats came by, and they're like, "You need help?" And he's like, "No. God's like he's gonna get me to land." I don't. No, it's not. It was just an analogy.
Okay.
It's a story, but it was based off of. I know it was based off of like a teaching from the Bible, but I don't remember exactly. But this pastor used this message, and he's like, then the guy was like, "No, God's got me. Like he's gonna push me to land, whatever. Like I'll be fine." And eventually, the guy dies, and he gets to heaven, and God's like, "What the hell?" He's like, "I sent you 3 boats, like those were your signs, and you were too ignorant because you thought something else was going to be." He's like, sometimes the what is like supposed to be sent to you is the most like it doesn't seem like it because it's just so obvious, but it actually is, and you just thought it was going to be something else. So what if that's you?
That's
crazy.
wild.
I wish I remember the teaching, but.
That's crazy, bro. That's that's wow. Yeah. That's a good analogy, bro. It's crazy to think about.
But I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, dude, that was a good one.
Yeah.
What did we just talk about? Because we can cover that topic next week.
Yeah, we talked about how do you know it's like how do you know it's a good thing and what's a bad thing? That's kind of like it, basically.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys.
Appreciate y'all. hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you for all the questions this past week. Definitely some great questions. And if you guys need help to learn how to ask questions, watch our last video.
Yeah.
With that being said, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.